welcome to this edition of the Hudson Valley Business Connection. Today, we are at the Quietman Public House on North Division Street in Peekskill, and with a very special guest, the owner of the Quietman Public House, Chuck McGrail. Hi Chuck, how you doing today?
Hey Lauren, how are you?
Good. So let's start from the beginning. How long have you been here?
We hit our 5-year mark back in August of this year. It was our 5 years around the 4th of August.
Wow, and so tell me where, of course you're from Ireland, so tell me where you're from and kind of what was the dream before this place opened?
All right, well, I'm actually from a little town called Westport. It's on the west coast of Ireland, about an hour north of Galway, roughly. Anybody who's familiar with, say, the movies, Irish movies and stuff like that, there was one famous movie called The Quietman, The Quietman, just The Quietman. And I always liked that name. And The Quietman was filmed in the west of Ireland, about 3/4 of an hour from where I grew up.
Oh, okay.
And also, the genesis was that I had always wanted to own a pub restaurant. I grew up in the restaurant industry. My mom was a chef. Her sisters were chefs. So I was always in and around the industry, even though I got into construction and consequently started building pubs and restaurants. The opportunity, right? I had looked at some spaces in Peekskill over the years, and this actually space we're in right now had been lying derelict for 30 years, 25, 30 years, not quite sure.
Okay.
Anybody who's familiar with the old Peekskill would have known that this was Napoli's Pizza at one point, and it burnt down.
Right.
And it sat there. And I always loved the building. I loved the location. I loved the street. And I always thought it had a lot of potential. But it needed a lot of work. So the job in hand was to get it built out and try and bring the building back to its original form. So the landlord in here, he got in, and we pulled the place apart and put it back together, and it is now what you see.
It is, and so basically a lot of people don't know, you built the bar and the famous bar inside.
And all the woodwork, yes. The bar actually has a good story to it. While trying to find something unique for some of the woodwork and the tops, what we wound up doing, I was down at one of my wood brokers, and they actually had this pile of lumber,
right,
looking pretty rough and pretty bad shape. And I asked my sales rep, I said, well, what's that over there? I had a totally different idea in mind.
Okay.
And he said, it's off some boat, he says. So that kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, a boat? All right, let's have a look at it. So there was actually certification with it. It was sitting wrapped up on a pallet, all this old wood. And when I machined it out, it was beautiful teak. It was off the USS North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And when it went into dry dock to be in Wilmington, they actually were in the process of turning it into a museum like the Intrepid is in New York City. So they kicked out all the old wood, and they were putting down new decking and everything. And my broker actually wound up with this as a package deal from a bunch of other stuff that came into the warehouse. So I took the old boat, as he called it, and I brought it back to the shop, and we fabricated it into the countertop. So what we now call it the Purple Heart bar top bar, because when you come in, you can see all the old bolt holes where it was bolted to the deck of the battleship. The reason they used teak back then, because they had 16-inch cannons, 16-inch guns. The recoil from those guns, the teak was the only thing that was actually fit to absorb that kind of a recoil.
Okay.
So, but they had massive bolts in it. So I had all these holes that I had to fill. So if you look at the bar top, you'll see like purple little discs in it, and that's actually rosewood. It's called Purple Heart rosewood, and that's what I filled those holes with. So all those holes are from where it was bolted originally to the deck of the USS North Carolina.
That's awesome, and I'm so happy you told us that story, because I don't think people, when they're enjoying their pint of Guinness or glass of wine, that they realize, and now they can hopefully take a look. It is probably the most gorgeous bar in the area.
Thank you very much.
So it's now 5 years, and tell us, so you do catering, brunch, lunch, dinner. What's your favorite dish or favorite story you want to tell?
Well, we do. We do catering. We do off-site catering. We do festivals and events like that, and then we do like to people's homes and businesses. And then we have a full brunch here with like a great Saturday and Sunday brunch. Lots of old favorites and some new ones. My favorite, I don't really know if I have a favorite. It's probably just the chicken curry.
Yes.
Like my mom.
Oh, it's so delicious.
That's probably my go-to, especially this time of year when it's really cold. That's probably one of the. But you know what? I love food, so.
Was that your mom? What you're gonna just say? Your
Yeah.
mom's recipe?
That was how we grew up with it.
Okay.
It's probably not authentic Asian or Indian, but it's just how we used to make it. So.
Right. Is a lot of the items here made from inspiration from your mom's cooking?
The stroganoff, the shepherd's pie, the stews, everything like that is kind of how we used to make it growing up. My mom worked in as an executive chef for my entire childhood and
Some good eating.
So some good eating. We as you can see, I'm not short of I haven't missed a meal in a while. We got to we were guinea pigs. We got to kind of like have dishes tested out on us, which was a lot of fun. So it was a good growing up in our household.
The easy classic, the Irish nachos are my favorite here. So just to let you know next time.
So don't get rid of it then.
So 5 years you've been here now. The Quiet Man is, well, I hope it's known for. You give back so much to the community. You just had the turkey trot that gave back to CHOP. Everybody ran with the turkey and gave back.
Yourself included.
Myself included.
We have pictures if anybody wants to see.
How many turkeys did you collect this year alone?
I believe when the dust was settled, I think leaving here that day was 100 plus. But when all the things, everything came in, CHOP had told me I think they collected nearly 300. So the entire drive, not just here. And we had lots of support. I mean, the Jimmy Meany over there in the fire department, and those lads and yourself, and your costume.
Hey, all for a good cause.
All for a good cause.
But you do the
there was a good,
chop?
there was a good support. We had fire department for Plank, the Hudson Valley Medical Center. They were the New York Presbyterian now.
Yes.
I think they came in. I mean, lots of great groups came in, and they just great support, and you can't do it without the community.
Right,
support.
and you sponsored that for the 5th year. That was the 5th year that was going on here.
Yeah.
You also sponsor the big polar plunge down at the riverfront on New Year's Day for the This Is Me Foundation.
Yes, and
we worked together on that.
Yeah, that was that was something an event.
That was your idea. For everybody that keeps asking, who thought of this? It's not me.
Well, when we're sitting there and we're thinking about it, and I'm, because you have to try and keep coming up with events, and you need to come up with fun events. People, people are very charitably naturally, but I think if you get them involved in it, it's a lot of fun. And you've certainly taken that event and certainly built on it, which is phenomenal, and the money raised is going to a great cause. But it's fun, and it's easy, it's easy to be an idea guy when somebody else actually has to jump in the frigid water.
I know. See, that's why I haven't asked you for a new idea in a while,
because you're afraid. Oh, I've got some really good ideas coming up, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So we do that. What other organizations or things do you sponsor throughout the year? You guys are always giving back and always involved.
We're doing, we've done, we've got another toy drive coming up on Sunday for Toys for Tots, but we've already done one already. So we do 2 or 3 toy drives.
You're of course part of the Pekskill St. Patrick's Day Committee as well.
Yes.
As for years.
Golly, yeah.
Years. You were a Grand Marshal a couple years ago.
15, 20 years. I don't know. How long
have you lived in Peekskill? When did you come from Ireland to Peekskill? Or did you come to Peekskill first?
No, I actually wound up in Tarrytown first.
Okay.
So when I came here in, say, 1988, I started in Tarrytown, and as my manufacturing company grew, I needed more manufacturing space. So I kept moving up along the Hudson River to find bigger factories and more stable power sources and things like that. And I found Peekskill, there was, in this area, there was a lot of industrial space that, would fit my needs.
So when did you move here?
I think I bought my house in the area back in 2000, around in around 2000, I think.
That sounds about right. Because I've been lucky enough to know you since then.
Yeah, you were just...
I think we were some of your first compadres here.
Yeah, absolutely. My goodness, I mean, you were just a baby step dancer at that point. You were just still in high school and school at that when we moved here, right?
Right, but I'm so lucky. And now we have, you know, a place to call home here at the Quietman Public House.
But it's kind of like that was really what we wanted to create, was to create a family space. It really is, you know, an extension of your home.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the way the pubs are in Ireland, you know. Like bars traditionally in America are not places where you go with kids or go with your family, you know. We wanted to create a space here that was just really user friendly, and you know, with good food and good friends, and that was kind of became our motto, was just, you know, create that type of environment where, you know, mom and dad can come with the kids and it doesn't cost them a fortune to, you know, have a meal out and, you know, have some fun.
Right, exactly. And I know, well, it's definitely too cold right now, but you've done some great work and have patio seating as well, you know, which is, you have seating out front, and then in the back people really have, it's become gorgeous, which is such a nice place to be. Yeah,
we actually, one of the Westchester papers did a whole story on, you know, we were one of the best kept secrets in Westchester for our hidden garden. And
right.
You know, it's lovely in the summertime. We've got the ivy growing up the walls, and it's that old stonework out there, and it's totally, you know, it's totally private and just a great space to have a party in, and, you know, just sit and have some drinks with friends, and you know, while the summer waits. Not that we would have ever done that.
No, we never, you know. What? I've never had a drink here.
Never.
So anything else you want to add to, you know, and I know you always have art on the walls, you always just are giving back and making this really a community place and involved in everything in the community and making it a family place.
You know, I think ultimately any business in any community or any person, if you're not part of the solution, as they say, you're part of the problem. You know, you need to get involved, and you know, and you know, contribute and give back and build. I mean, it's the only way. You know, it's not just about, you know, obviously making a profit, doing business is only a small part of any business. But you know, you gotta be involved.
Right, and you've been a great part of working with us at the Chamber of Commerce here in Peekskill. You're a great partner, and that's how we all, you know.
It's, you know, the old adage, you know, high tide floats all boats. You know, so if we, you know, we'll either all fail together, or we'll all succeed together, or we'll fail together. You know, you just got to keep pushing.
Perfect.
And you got to keep, you know, reinventing the wheel. You can't take anything for granted, because, as anybody knows in business, it can change in a blink of an eye, you know.
Exactly.
So you gotta
especially in this business.
Especially in this business. So you gotta really keep trying and keep, you know, you're only as good as your last Facebook report, you know. So
that's true. Well, you know, you have great, and you guys do have a great. If anybody's on Facebook, they can find you on Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Twitter. Not so much Twitter, Instagram. I'm supposed to do the Twitter, but you know, I'm not very good at it.
And it's thequietmanpublichouse.com, correct?
Yes, it is,
your website. You have a great website. You also just redid your menu as well. A lot of new items on there.
Yeah, we added some really good new stuff. We added in the new brunch menu, new cocktails, and just kind of upped it. We'll up it again. We're always trying to change it, add new, exciting. You know, just keep it fresh, keep it new. People want that variety. You know, so you know, one of the things we do is we just try and, you know, have something new with our specials that we run every week. You know, and that gives the people an opportunity to try different new things and still be able to count on, you know, some solid
Exactly.
stuff
Always
in the
can
menu.
get your fish and chips, right?
Yeah. New York Times rated best.
I know. New York Times did rate you as the best, and they're definitely always the same. And the Guinness mussels. That's a classic.
That's very popular. Surprisingly so. I wasn't, you know, I didn't expect that one to be, but people love it. You just, you know.
Great. Well, I thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
No, thank you for
people
coming out to
haven't
visit
been in a while. I hope they come check out the new menu, or if haven't checked it out yet. You know, the Quietman Public House, like you said, it is a family place to be, and we thank Chuck for speaking to us, and just thank you for everything you do.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Lauren. It was great to see you.
You too. Cheers. Oh.
Sláinte.